Peace and blessings. How you all doing? This is Ibra Fall with the Black Urban Gardening Society. Today I'm taking you guys on location to a community garden setup that we've been working on actually since International Black Gardening Day of 2019. And so this location is real unique because it's centered in a center of a large food desert here in northeast Oklahoma City. If you research northeast Oklahoma City, you'll see it's one of the larger food deserts in the country. But the community efforts that you see here is being performed to actually try to mitigate these problems that folks in the community have with not having access to fresh, healthy food. It's more productive for us to actually to do things for ourselves versus begging and asking people to do it for us. And so that's what we decided to do, is just empower ourselves. And so I'm going to give you guys a little small tour of what we have going on here. This has been about, like I said, it's been about a year of development. And so where we're starting at here, this is a spot. I don't know if you guys can see it, but this spot has about 7 beds here. But this spot is actually phase 2 of the garden here. We initially started with 4 raised beds, but in the fall we tarped this area off to kill the grass, and then in March we came through with 10 tons of compost that we were able to get, and we literally covered that whole tarped area with compost. Sorry for the sirens in the background, but like I said, I am literally in a city, what some folks will call the hood of northeast Oklahoma City. And so we're gonna once again give you guys a little tour. So what you'll see right here, this bed right here, it's been picked and harvested today, but this bed right here is a bed of collards and kale. All right, straight collards and kale. And over the last month, we harvested about 30 pounds of greens from here. There are onions in here too. They've been harvested. And I don't know if you guys can see in the back, you can see the little tree in the background here. That's a fig tree that we have planted. This is the first fruit tree on the premise, and this tree was actually planted as a memorial for one of our dear brothers who recently passed away. So we pray the peace and blessings and be up on my brother Pa Modu. All right, and so that's a tree, and so we will put an orchard back here as well. And so this whole area is straight compost. We put wood chips in the walkways. The wood chips serve multiple purposes. We really don't have any weed pressure in the garden in this area that was tarped. Did a pretty good job of suppressing all of the weeds and killing them, but that will serve their purpose as far as weed suppression. Also, it's going to build biomass in the soil, and also the wood chips will help retain moisture in the soil. All right, and so I'm going to step over here. You can see this is an empty bed over here, and actually the brothers and the sisters will come out tomorrow, and they're actually going to plant corn in this bed right here. So this bed will be all corn, which will be, of course, more food for the community. All right, be a great source of carbon later on for the compost. We're at our next bed. This bed is all tomatoes. And so when you guys are setting up a community-based project, and if you were not able to start from seed and plan it out that way, it's no shame in buying transplants, okay? So these are transplants that we bought, and we have, a few plants. I'm not sure. Let's see, 3, 6, got 7 tomatoes out here. We'll bring some more, and this will be enough tomatoes to feed the community. We definitely could get some more out here as well. But we have tomatoes growing out here. All right. In the next bed, We have okra. I'll give you guys, let you see a little bit deeper as far as what we're doing. This bed has okra, so we have quite a few okra plants in here. And I think it should be noted, and for those of you guys who see this, who do this work, it's really important and essential to grow food that is culturally relative. I see a lot of people go into communities that they don't belong to, and they grow crops that the people don't even eat. And a lot of times they do it in the name of educating the people in their community to a different type of food and giving them diversity. But you know, in essence, it's real arrogance as well for you to go and try to impose your dietary thoughts and plans on someone else. So we grow culturally relative food, and this is a primarily African American community, and so okra is a food that, you know, African people, black people eat throughout the world, and so we're growing, you know, culturally relative food for this community. All right, and so I'll take you guys to the next bed. The next bed over here is sort of a smorgasbord in a sense. We have peppers in here, have some cayenne peppers. We got a few zucchini plants in here. We have some bell peppers, and we have some eggplants in here as well. So that's the next bed we have. All right. And so we have this bed right here. This bed is all watermelon. We'll probably add about 2 to 3 more watermelon plants in here. But we know watermelon are runners and viners, and so we're sort of going to try to keep that neutral, or we're actually going to plant some sweet potatoes in between. Good ground cover, great source of, you know, nutrients as far as the leaves, good spinach substitute, and we get to potatoes later on. So that'll probably be what we do. And so we have this bed right here, which is currently vacant, and we're thinking of planting some bush beans in this bed. We have some ornamental flowers scattered around the garden as well, and we'll eventually sheet mulch this whole area and put wood chips around it, so we don't have to deal with cutting the grass. Hopefully that'll be a phase that we move to next, okay? And so behind me, let me see how I can get this here. All right, so behind me is a trellis that we just set up today. All right, and this trellis, in order for us to maximize space, we used a cow panel, some T-posts to hold it up. In order for us to maximize space, we're going to be growing our cucumbers on this trellis. So we'll grow them vertically. All right, and just trying to be efficient with our space. All right, and we'll move you over here to the raised beds. You guys can see there are 5 raised beds. In 2019, when we started this project, we started with the initial 4 raised beds over here. All right, we added this raised bed, the 5th raised bed right here. This raised bed, we added that raised bed last week. So we'll be putting plants in those raised beds, and we'll be, of course, trellising, like I said, cucumbers in this hoop tunnel right here. And if you can see, we have this area tarped off. This area is being tarped off to suppress the grass, so we can basically repeat what we did in the previous bed that I showed you guys. So we have this tarped off. We'll keep it tarped off until September. Then we'll come back through and probably drop about another 10 tons of compost, and by that time we'll have our fall crops ready to go in. And like I said, we're doing some culturally relative stuff, so we definitely have a lot of turnip, mustard greens, maybe some more collard greens, broccoli, things of that nature in those beds. And also, you guys can see we have another trellis over here. And over here we have cucumbers. We'll be planting cantaloupe and on this trellis over here. And so this is how we're utilizing this growing space. So this is not a large area. You know, it's more than what a lot of people may have in urban areas. But try to show it for you. It's probably about probably about 30 by, I don't know, maybe about 80, 30 by 80, something of that nature. But I just wanted to share with you guys what we're doing. I had some people who said they wanted me to do a video because they wanted to replicate a system like this in their cities. And this project is a very inexpensive project that we initiated here. We use city municipal compost. We use some old tarps to tarp it off. You see that we're using bricks that we found behind an abandoned building to hold the tarp down. We started a lot of the plants, particularly the peppers and things of that nature. I started all of the kale. So we started our seeds for that. And so this is what we have going on. So if you're engaging in a project like this, planning is extremely important. Planning your location, your site, make sure you got adequate sunlight, make sure you have easy access to water, make sure you're not planting it in a heavy trafficked area. And so, follow those basic principles. Utilize as much, your growing space as much as possible. So if you have to grow vertically, and you want to grow crops that take up a lot of space, but you don't have it, grow vertically. We bought the cow panels, bought the wood, but this is all a community effort. And so I really want to stress to you guys is that we need to develop community sustainability. It's great if I have a garden, if a few individuals have a garden. But if we could create a location like this and we could scatter these throughout food insecure neighborhoods, and then everybody still has their personal garden, and that's easy to ascertain because when we invite the community out, we're actually teaching people how to do this. And so as we educate the community on the dynamics of growing their own food and how to grow their own food organically in a sustainable way, people go and they replicate the systems at their own homes, okay? And so let's work towards this, to try to build food security, and let's move beyond the notion of begging people to do things for us, to bring grocery stores to our communities, to do all of this and all of that. Take your hand out and, put your hand in the ground and do something for yourself. And it's empowering, not just for you, but it's empowering for the community, for the youth. Gardens enrich the minds, the bodies, the spirits of everything around them, and it enriches the environment. So this is just a tour of what we got going on here, y'all. Hopefully we'll bring you guys back later on and let you see the productivity. Like I said, just with kale and collards, we've already grown about 30 pounds in the last, harvested 30 pounds. And the beauty is that not only are we harvesting it, but we're sharing it with the community around us. So, our community members, which is a diverse community, African American and Hispanic community, brown and black community, they're eating from the garden. The brothers and sisters here at this masjid, they're eating from the garden. There's strawberries growing and things of that nature. So, this is something that, God willing, will be extremely productive. And it's something that we hope to show to you guys so it could be easily replicated throughout the country. All right, so once again, this is Ibrahim with the Black Urban Gardening Society. Hey, you guys, please like and subscribe to our channel. Please share videos with your family and friends and your loved ones. And remember, the food you grow is the food you know. All right, y'all, peace, we out.